presentation from Deidre Armstrong. Are you with us, Deidre?
Hey, Bob, let me just have one
Yes, I am.
Oh, yes, please do.
Deirdre, we're going to give you one second before I get started, but I just want to make one announcement. Thanks to all who are talking about networking events and hometowns. I guess this is sort of hot off the press, or however we want to look at it. Secretary Wilkie did a fabulous job at AWP, at the American Warriors Forward Symposium, Partnership Symposium, and he had a chance to talk to much of the leadership that was there, to include like CEO of WWP, NGB Bureau was represented. We had so many of them, and of course Deidre was there as well, representing us with Bob Woodrow Foundation and all that. But the Secretary wishes to have an opportunity to talk to us all, and through networking events, virtual events just like this. So here's the information that will come out to everyone, and I also am including my VA peers to include their organizations that will come down to your undersecretaries, because the undersecretaries will be speaking, but it's going to be a town hall virtually that our Secretary Wilkie, wishes to talk to everyone. So before you get the flyers, let me give you the information right now. It will be on September 27th at 1:30 to 4:30, and I can assure you that the Secretary will not be talking the entire time. Eastern time. So on September 27th, 1:30 to 4:30, a flyer will come out. It will include state VA, county VA, undersecretary administrations, live questions and answers, and that this is another way of showing that the administration at the VA is very transparent. We want to partner with everyone. We know we need to partner with them. And Secretary Wilkie has now just declared to us that we will make this happen. So once again, September 27th, 1:30, 4:30 Eastern time, you will get more information on how to do it, but please block or mark your calendar, save that date, save that time, because we certainly want to hear it. And it includes 501c3s, it includes NBI, it's going to include all 501s, all the administrations for the VA, and the Secretary wants to talk to us as a group, and of course, I'm looking forward to making that happen for him. And I have a great team of Andy Martinez, Chris Solson, and all of them will be delivering this to you. So more information to come, but you heard it now, fresh off the press.
Wow.
Bob?
Hot off the presses. Thank you, sir. Deidre, I know you're
Hi
on the
there.
run. Please.
Can everyone hear me okay and see my screen?
Yes, got you loud and clear.
Very well.
Great. As Jim mentioned, I'm doing the presentation from the AWP conference in Atlanta. It was a really great opportunity for networking, and I'm happy that I could also fit in being a part of today. And thank you to the VA, especially Jim and Bob and Tony, for putting this event together today. As Bob mentioned, my name is Deirdre Armstrong. I am from the National Veterans Intermediary, and I'm going to be talking today about how to think beyond traditional fundraising and how to identify those resources you need, who might have them, and who might be willing to share them with you. NVI, the National Veterans Intermediary, exists to strengthen all communities with those deep collaborations. Many of you have already taken advantage of our collaboration funding, but we are more than just funding. We are working to connect communities with resources, whether those resources are in your own communities or available through our national partners. We're planning our programming for the next phase now, and we welcome your input. You can sign up for updates and read more on our blog at nvi.org. I'd like to start with this quote from the Stanford Sustainability Journal. I'm going to read it aloud in case some of you can't see the screen. Collective impact efforts are most effective when they build from what already exists, honoring current efforts and engaging established organizations rather than creating an entirely new solution from scratch. This seminal collective impact concept applies to resources, and specifically those resources beyond financial grants and funding. Too many of us get stuck when it comes to fundraising because of those substantial barriers to access. But if we take a second and reimagine the idea of contribution and engage stakeholders to contribute in new ways, we can hopefully build that sustainability and increase our impact and establish a collaborative platform that will make our initiatives more attractive to funders in the future. I'm going to talk you through the traditional sources of funding and then lead you through options that may be available to you for no cost. I want to expand the concept of resources and show you how to access them. You can see here on my slide the agenda. I'd like to start with an assessment of the current landscape. We've been at war for 17 years. Donors are more cautious. They want to see the data that measures the impact of their gift. And there's more competition for every single gift. Many funders have a misunderstanding that CVEBs are government organizations, which may cause hurdles to funding. We know you're frustrated. We all wish there was more money to go around. And we want to make sure that the money that is available goes where it is needed the most. So part of that challenge is to educate funders and stakeholders about your local military and veteran community needs. And NVI is doing this as well. We are advocating for investment in collaboratives and CVEBs. I've listed traditional funding sources here. There are several categories of grantors, and each organization within these categories has its own requirements, timelines, and donation limits. The bottom line is this: it takes time and investment to seek funding, and the reporting burden can be significant also. And for all of these, you need to build in sustainability, because the grants are for a limited period of time. Locally, you may also be competing with other social issues, but there's an opportunity to advocate for yourself into multiple funding streams, since veteran issues truly span the whole spectrum. I'd like to take a look beyond these traditional funding sources to identify other resources and other stakeholders who may be able to contribute those resources. Everyone in our ecosystem relies on resources to run, but they also have resources to share. These traditional grant-making funding organizations have more than just money to offer. I suggest you start by surveying your community. Do you have a balanced mix of nonprofits, businesses, and government agencies? You may not have all of these in your collaborative. This is a chance to invite new stakeholders into your work. These include those shown here on my slide and others across the civic landscape, such as law enforcement, public health, public education, and even transportation agencies. Let's take a look at examples of each type of stakeholder and look at the types of resources they may have and how you can use them. Before I dive in, I'd like to clarify my definitions. When I say infrastructure, I mean building the collaborative versus capacity building, meaning ensuring that you have the right mix of services when the population you serve needs them the most. For our purposes today, we're focusing on 3 types of nonprofits: philanthropic organizations, universities, and intermediaries like NVI. All of them have other assets beyond just dollars that you can take advantage of: subject matter expertise, tools, physical space, experts, shared learning, training programs. In addition to infrastructure and capacity, these are great partners for advocacy and knowledge building. Next, let's take a look at how businesses within your community can contribute. By businesses, I mean national corporations, consulting firms, law firms, and smaller companies. We often think of businesses for cash donations and pro bono work, but they have so much more to offer. There's even a growing movement towards social impact investment. For example, in the real estate sector, some investors are providing social services to the communities inhabiting their buildings on the theory that a stable, healthy community increases the value of their properties over time. I'd like you to imagine the opportunity for partnership there. Just that one example. Let's take a look now at how you might be able to tap into these resources through government agencies. We've seen two ways that local governments have provided funding outside of grants. One is to create tax levies to fund projects. This was successfully implemented in King County in Washington State. The other is to create actual budget line items to support the creation of a formal backbone organization. This is how the New York City Department of Veterans Services came into being, through the City Council's institutional support. Both local and federal governments also may be able to contribute subject matter expertise, shared service providers, and open channels for advocacy. Both have a voice that can create urgency and convening power. If you're not sure where to start, there are a number of resources out there completely free of charge. You can go online today and download reports, data, and other resources to help you get a handle on the process, evaluation, and organizing concepts. These include the Collective Impact Forum, the Military Family Research Institute at Purdue University, the Institute for Veteran and Military Families, the Bush Institute, and NVI. The Bob Woodruff Foundation is pioneering the National Veterans Intermediary to harness, support, and amplify the efforts of all stakeholders to improve outcomes for veterans within and across all communities. Our intermediary represents both public and private sector interests across all issue areas. We have invited communities in every state to collaborate, and I'm excited to share today that 80 communities across 33 states have committed to further collaboration in their communities. NVIA offers 4 capabilities to stimulate change in communities. These include ecosystem data, collaboration funding, learning and collaboration, and public-private collaboration. We are building to add value. We're fostering collective impact conditions within and across communities to improve the national impact. Rather than compete or reinvent existing solutions, we are aspiring to catalyze change where it is needed and help fulfill those unmet needs. We always encourage collaboratives and CVEBs to establish a backbone organization because having that organizational structure in place supports all activities, and especially those related to procuring resources. The backbone becomes that de facto leader and manager of the process at every stage. Setting up a backbone will establish defined roles and responsibilities, even if it's initially only on a volunteer basis. So whether you are the backbone organization in your community or you're hoping to be, it will pay off to collaborate on fundraising and resource aggregation. I'd like us to pause and think, are you optimized for collaboration? Identifying those contributors in your community is so much easier when you have a sense of your objectives, you have a way to measure outcomes, you have a schedule of activities planned, and you have that channel for ongoing communication. If you haven't yet established these norms within your community, you'll need them to identify possible contributors. You'll need them to coordinate outreach, and you'll need them when collaborating with partners to successfully secure the contributions your community needs. Again, that backbone organization can take responsibility for shepherding the members of your collaborative. Here's a summary of what we covered today, and a few things I'd recommend you keep in mind. Cash is just one type of resource you need to build a sustainable organization. Service providers shouldn't be the only active members. Bring in those other stakeholders to be a part of every step. The more that you can show you're collaborating for impact, the easier it will be to attract funders and contributors. If you're already collaborating, you can deepen those commitments to build capacity. I'll finish with a plug for NVI because I'm passionate about our mission to support CVEBs like many of you on this call. We have collaboration funding available immediately, but you'll get so much more. Data, articles written specifically for you, learning opportunities, organized convenings. We're planning more hands-on programming for next year, and it's a great time to join NVI. Please take advantage of nvi.org, which is built for you, and sign up for our email list to get updates on more capabilities and tools as they roll out. We'll publish this slide deck on our blog section so you can download it and share it and reference it. I welcome a few questions. That concludes my presentation. I only have like 5 minutes, but I'm happy to take as many as I could fit in.
Yes, please go ahead.
Hey, Bob, Deirdre, we do have a question from here in Phoenix.
Great.
Hey, Deirdre, it's Thomas Winkle from the Arizona Coalition for Military Families. How you doing?
Hi there, I'm great. How are you?
Good. I just wanted to say, one of the biggest benefits that we've seen through NBI is the conference that was done on collective impact. Would you mind just chatting a little bit about that? And what I'll do is I'll do a pre-plug before you chat to everybody. If you get the offer to go to this thing or to go to other follow-ups, go. Don't think about it. Go. As many people as you can bring, or at least one from each CVEB or state.
Sure,
Sorry,
sure.
you can go.
No,
Yeah.
thank you, Thomas. I should have mentioned that. So Thomas is referencing, we gave our CVEB collaborative members the opportunity to send a representative to the Collective Impact Forum event in Austin last April. It wasn't a veteran-focused event. It was a general event with groups from all areas to understand the tenets of collective impact and take it back to their communities and implement it in their work. And we are actually currently offering another scholarship opportunity to another collective impact event. It's called the Champions of Change event, and it is specifically focused on building backbones, and it's occurring in Los Angeles in October. And all our partners, our 80 local community partners, should have gotten an email about it. I think we initially sent it out in July, and we sent it out again in August with sign-up information. And it's also in our blog section, more information about that scholarship opportunity. So as Thomas said, I think it's a great opportunity, one, to meet other CVEB leaders. We have an informal gathering where we, have a small networking event, and to have the cost of that scholarship taken care of, the registration cost, which I understand could sometimes be prohibitive for communities to attend.
Well, thank you, Thomas, for raising that question, and thank you, Deidre, so much for covering that ground as well.
Absolutely.
We're going to set you loose so you can go catch that plane.
Great.
Don't know where
Thanks
you're
so
heading,
much,
but,
everyone.
And thank you, Deirdre. I didn't have an opportunity to actually say hi to you at the AWP conference, but I did see you at the back when I was on that panel. And one of the things I wanted to do, I have an opportunity now to say hi, and it was nice seeing you at the AWP conference.
You too. Take care. Thanks to all.